You know, when you have insomnia and you're incredibly productive and get a million projects done and don't stop to take a break and talk really fast and talk at an increased volume and can't stop your mind from racing, what's that called? Oh, mania. If you hear fireworks during this video, that is because it is the 4th of July. So that's why. And I don't know that you actually will hear them, but just in case you do, don't be concerned. That's all it is. Honestly, as a person with narcolepsy, you'd think I'd be sleeping a lot more than I have been, but I have been inundated with insomnia for 3 weeks, which has led me to be very concerned about my mental health, and I could be onto something. I should be sleeping a lot more than I am. And I know that that is a huge warning sign of mania. So I've been hyper vigilant, looking for the other symptoms. And after 3 weeks of really shitty sleep, not only am I sleeping less and less and less over time, I'm also starting to really rev up. I think I've been amping up for a while because I don't know how long it's been, but for a while I've been thinking to myself, I wonder if I need my mood stabilizer adjusted. I can't tell you how many weeks it's been because it's all starting to blend together, but I know at least for the last 3 weeks, I've been having more restless nights than not. I've been having more nights where I'm getting less than 8 hours of sleep, and that has been shortening to the point where now I've been pulling all-nighters. So that's been the first warning sign. And I knew a couple weeks ago when this started that this could go somewhere, and that's why I've been waiting for the next symptoms, hoping they wouldn't, but being like, all right, realistically, this is about to go down. And now it's going down because I've been very productive, accomplishing a lot of tasks every single day in the middle of the night for just hours straight. I've been knitting, I made business cards, I made flashcards for like self-care techniques. They're called care cards, and I'm going to be selling these decks of care cards. So I made a bunch of those. I made a print. I made a silk screen, and start to finish made a print out of that screen all the way to fruition. I'm about to start another one because I guess I wasn't thinking straight and I made the first one backwards. And that's the kind of mistake that happens when your mind is racing, which it has been. I've been talking really, really fast and just a lot, like a lot of words. And even when I try to dial it back and pause the conversation to listen to someone else, it's like waiting to come out. It's like pushing at the envelope trying to come out, and you know, I can't stop. So this is not necessarily the starting point, but this is the starting point of like me chronicling it. I don't want to go psychotic. I have schizoaffective disorder. That's what happens when I go manic. I go psychotic. I take it a step further and I have a complete break from reality. So, you know, mania is not fun for me. Mania is really scary for me because it's like I'm sitting back and watching as I slip away. Going psychotic, that's an entirely different beast. So sitting back and watching as I go into the first step towards psychosis, it's really scary, especially because I can't do anything to stop it. I just sit back and watch, you know, like I can't help that my brain is operating this way. I don't know why. I've been stable for a really long time. I've been on the same dose of medication for over a year without any issue. And it's scary. It's scary that being on medication and going manic could happen, because I've been afraid of this for a really long time, that someday the meds, even while being on them, wouldn't stop it and it could still happen. That is my worst nightmare. So it's tomorrow and I've made some efforts to correct my mood. I don't know that I'd say I'm going into a manic episode, but I am manic. Like, you can be manic without necessarily having mental illness, right? Like, mania is a thing, right? That's at least what I'm trying to tell myself, because you know, this insomnia can induce mania. So like, you don't have to be having an episode to have insomnia induced mania, right? Which means that if I could sleep, I could cut it out. I mean, well, partly that's my plan, is to see if I can cure it through sleeping better. because I'm not going to be able to see my doctor for a very long time. My first step towards like trying to resolve this thing that's going on in my head was to make an appointment for an earlier appointment, right? Because my appointment to see my doctor isn't for another 2 months. So I called and I asked if they could move me up, and I got moved from 7 weeks from now to 6 weeks from now. So yeah, that is an improvement, but like, holy shit, I could really go for a sooner appointment than 6 weeks from now, because this is just starting. Like, this is just the beginning. And I really don't want to know where I'll be in 6 weeks if this keeps progressing. I've made some changes. So I took melatonin and GABA and anxiety meds again last night. This time it was successful, and I slept for 7 hours, which when you have narcolepsy is still not enough, because my doctor recommends I sleep 10 to 12 hours, and I typically sleep 12 to 14 hours. So yeah, 7 hours isn't enough, but thank God, like, it is some relief, right? That made a huge difference. I'm still incredibly tired because there's a lot to catch up on, but I'm just thankful for what I could get. You know, I've tried napping twice today, didn't work both times. I've made some other efforts. For instance, I'm not drinking energy drinks anymore, and I'm scheduling myself to take my anxiety meds every 4 hours. So I have an alarm on my phone that goes off every 4 hours. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to do, you know, other than just like let it ride out. I'm feeling like a lot calmer today, and I think maybe that's because I got some sleep. If I can get my sleep back on track, then this could all go away. You know what I mean? Like, if it really is just because I'm so tired and sleep deprived that my mind is going wild, yeah, this can be resolved. If it doesn't get resolved, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I make it 6 weeks when I've been sleeping like 4 hours a day, 7 hours, no hours for 3 weeks? So we'll see. We'll see. The last couple of nights, I slept an adequate amount. Before that, if I slept, it wouldn't be enough. It would be like half of what I normally slept, if not less, or if at all. And it was concerning because insomnia can really rev you up. I think the manic symptoms I was having maybe weren't necessarily mania, but were actually just deprivation, you know, the sleep deprivation. You act a little loopy when you're sleep deprived. And I think this is what happened to me. Honestly, though, it is a valid scare to have, because with a condition like schizoaffective disorder, mania is a symptom. So having manic episodes is not outside of my nature. And though it hadn't happened in a while, it is not uncommon. It is not something that will maybe ever, never happen again in my lifetime. The possibility is always there. So now that I've gotten a couple nights of sleep, I'm thinking better and I'm thinking straight, and I'm realizing this was a blip. This is probably going to resolve itself. I can already tell that I'm winding down, because even though I still have been super duper productive, like I cannot stop myself from making activities, for instance, this video and my TikToks and my art and my knitting and everything else, my writing, everything has been to the max. I feel like my thinking at the very least is slowing down, and with that, the productivity will hopefully slow down. There has not been a moment that I've rested. I've been highly active, and I think I'm starting to at least feel like, okay, calm down. Don't talk at a million miles a minute. Don't embarrass yourself in conversations because you can't reel it back. So while these past 3 weeks have been incredibly heightened and difficult and frustrating and productive, I would say that I'm relieved. Like, I'm relieved at least to have a reminder of what I'm avoiding. You know, it's a scare, but it's a good scare. It's something that I need to be reminded of. And I think it's okay every once in a while to have, you know, small episodes, but keeping them out from the territory of a full-blown manic episode. So this, I guess, was just something to keep me mindful that, you know, I should be on top of my health. Like, in this time, I've been so on top of it, taking my anxiety meds scheduled 3 times a day, taking more food with my nighttime meds because I need a certain amount of calories for my antipsychotic. I was looking for every area that things were going wrong. So I was doing everything I could, right? Because I thought maybe I'm not eating enough food. I'll work on that. Maybe I'm not controlling my anxiety enough. I'll work on that. And working all of that was successful because I came out of it and I'm better. I'm sleeping again. And that was, like I said, the biggest concern. So I think my efforts worked. I think that cutting out the energy drinks and eating better and at least trying to sleep, it was a success. And so, let's take that away from it, right? If there's anything to take away from it, it's that self-care really does make a difference. Okay, I have to make an amendment. I know this video is insanely long. If anyone's watched to this point, good for you. Amazing dedication. Here's the thing. I was incredibly stupid to think that 2 nights of sleep would be enough to cure my 3 weeks of mania. And now it's bordering on 4 weeks. I can't tell at this point because I'm really not good with tracking days and stuff. But I think when I started this, it was around 2 or 3 weeks. That was like a week ago about. And you know what? It's just getting worse. I think that last segment, which was ridiculously long, by the way, was wishful thinking. But after a conversation with my partner, I realized it's a lot worse than it seems. He pointed out that he's been concerned for quite a while because I haven't been acting like myself. And I'm sure that in this video I seem relatively composed and my speech is paced. But there are the concerning red flags of the productivity and the insomnia. And maybe I don't realize just how bad it is because I'm on the inside of it. But he said that when I say things like the creativity gods are upon me and I'm a creative genius, it is not so much funny as it is concerning. And while I think I'm hysterically funny, this is not so. I'm realizing now just how productive I've been, and it is insane. So when I started filming this like a week ago, I was at the point where I had just made a new design and I had done some other things. I made business cards and care cards. So let's start there, right? That was already in itself a pretty productive 2 days. And that was like 2 days, maybe one. So this is the design I created. Now here's the thing. This is inverted. This is the wrong design. The actual design is this. And yeah, I made all of this too. This took me about 3 days. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 designs I made in a week. That's 8 new designs. I usually space out my designs like a few months just to make one. So that was extreme. I made all of these beautiful prints. Some of them aren't even good, but they're all just, there's a bunch of them. There's the other prints that I made. I've got these little logos that you may have seen in that screen. I've just got little words, and I've got this brain. This is how it was supposed to look. This one I should probably listen to because it says mindfulness matters and my thoughts are racing. And then this glows in the dark, but I haven't tried it out yet because I made it last night at like 2 a.m. And then I have the hats I've made. I made this hat today. I'd already knit it, but I added the patch today. I added a patch to this one today. I'm about to add a patch to this one. And I have this huge stack of clothes that I have labeled with which designs I want to put on them, with which colors. And that's a lot of clothes. It's overboard. I guess what I'm saying is it's only just really now hitting me that this is becoming a problem. This is becoming a bigger problem than I had realized, and the racing thoughts are back. 2 nights of sleep really wasn't enough, and I really thought that it had cured me, but it was more like a little reprieve, like a small break. And I think realistically, if you look back on my past 3 videos, you can tell that there was something going on, that I was starting to rev up, because I think I was a little more animated than usual. And on top of that, I did upload 3 videos in like 3 days. So yeah, it's a thing and I don't know where it's going, but I'm uploading this tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up. That's what I've got going on. Pray for me.